Michael of Glacier, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We just got done playing a great show and I'm feeling good.
Okay, so Glacier has a very interesting story. I don't even know how to begin this. Maybe you can start. How did it all start? How did you get involved?
Okay, so in 1983, Scott Prinzing, who was the original singer of the band when they were doing cover tunes, Scott had quit the band because he was going to go to college. And he was good friends with Tim Proctor, who ended up being the bass player for Glacier when Scott left the band, because he was a singer and bass player. And then a friend of mine, a girlfriend of mine, said that she knew this band Glacier up in Portland that was looking for a singer and that they were going to be huge and all this stuff. And so I went up and tried out in Pat's basement. Pat was one of the guitarists, and I sang a Judas Priest song and an Iron Maiden song, and I was in the band.
All right. So what was the immediate plan of action once you joined the band?
Well, they had already been working on some original songs, and we put a set together and we started playing around Portland. We opened quite often for the band Wild Dogs, and a few other bands, local bands in Portland opened for us, like Mayhem, Manchild, Outrage, a few others maybe.
What was it like finding some kind of a record deal during those days?
So I was already out of the band when they found the record deal. They only had the 3 songs, and they didn't have enough to do an EP. So they had kicked me out of the band, and they didn't have enough songs. So they got Rex to record Vendetta, and Keith to record When Heaven's at Hand, and that gave them enough to do the EP with Axe Killer Records out of France.
Mm-hmm. How did that EP do? I mean,
I think it was only 500 copies. I'm not positive, but it sold. I don't know where it ended up in metal charts or anything like that, but it's an underground metal band that the underground metal people enjoy, and I didn't realize that until I went to a festival and was told by many people how that album really influenced them, and they loved it and grew up on it. It was pretty heartfelt.
So the initial run of Glacier, when did it end?
Basically in 1985, when the album came out. They ended up moving to LA, and I moved down there about the same time. We never crossed paths, but Sam stayed down there, and the rest of them moved back to Portland, and Glacier basically broke up.
Were you involved in any other musical bands?
I was in a band called Harlot, and that was the band I was in when I joined Glacier. And then after I was out of Glacier, I went back to my old band Harlot, and we started writing originals. And we had one song that was on a compilation radio station album, and that was about it. And then Harlot broke up, and that's when I moved to LA.
So how did you eventually find your way into Glacier? I mean, that's a still complicated story.
You mean again?
Again, yes.
So
Deja vu moment.
A promoter from here in Chicago that used to put on the Ragnarocker Festival at Reggie's, he got a hold of me, and he wanted Glacier to do a reunion show at one of his festivals. And I told him that I wasn't a part of that anymore, and I gave him Sam and Pat's information to get a hold of them. And he got a hold of Sam, and Sam didn't want to have anything to do with it, and so he knew that I was a photographer, and he hired me to shoot pictures at Ragnarocker in 2016. And he thought Sam would see all the pictures and want to do the festival, and see how much fun it was and everything. And he got back a hold of Sam afterward, and he still didn't want to do it. And so then he got back a hold of me, and he wanted me to come down and just sing all the songs. And he would put a band together down here in Chicago. So that's what the plan was. And then we were planning this, and I don't know if I had gone down to practice with the guys yet or not, but the news came of Sam's passing. And so the promoter got a hold of me. He's like, we gotta let everyone know what we were planning, because he didn't want to seem like they were trying to profit off of Sam's death. So we were playing as a band called Devil in Disguise, which was one of the songs.
Cool.
And I didn't have permission to use the name yet. And our first show was supposed to be the Ragnarocker. Well, the festival ended up getting canceled. And then Bob Byrne took over the festival with a couple other people, Shane that runs Reggie's, and they started the Legions of Metal Festival. And we were going to play that festival. And what happened, Oliver from the Keep It True Festival in Germany found out about it, and he got a hold of us and wanted us to play his festival first. So our first show was in Germany playing Keep It True Festival. And then after the Keep It True Festival, we played Chicago at the Legions of Metal Fest.
Musically, how did it come together?
Well,
new guys, new attitudes.
So I didn't know any of the guys except for Michael Mendoza, who was just basically a Facebook friend with me. And we met when I came down to photograph the Ragnarocker Festival. Anyways, those guys got together. It was Michael Maselbus, Adam Kopecki on drums, Michael Mendoza, and our friend Poncho was on bass. And one of them couldn't fly, so we had to get a backup bass player to play Keep It True. And then when we came back, the whole group played the festival here in Chicago.
What reactions did you experience playing both festivals?
I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm thinking, Devil in Disguise, nobody knows who that is, and let alone Glacier, We weren't really a big band or anything. We only played maybe a dozen shows in Oregon. And so I'm standing back in the side of the stage behind a curtain, and my guys are up on the stage doing a sound check, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna look and see what the crowd's like. That was a huge mistake. I looked over the curtain and I freaked out. It was packed, and I was pacing, and I can't do this. Anyways, we started off with Ready for Battle, and my cue is coming up, and I just finally said to myself, I have to do this. So I went up on stage, did my 1, 2, 3, 4, and the song started. And once I was singing, I felt good. I was in my realm, and it was pretty exciting.
So at what point did you become Glacier again?
After we had played probably 3 or 4 shows, Tim and Lauren had seen, how we were doing and everything, and they agreed to let us use the Glacier name.
I believe there's some new music that came out of that union then, right?
Oh yeah.
You want to show the record?
We have the newest album was The Passing of Time, and actually Tim and Lauren play on 3 of the songs, which were old 80s songs that we recorded. They were never recorded before, and turned out really great. The Passing of Time kind of put it all together. We brought some old guys in and new guys and made the album, and it did pretty well.
How would you say the heavy metal scene accepted the new face of Glacier?
I wasn't sure how it was going to be accepted by the old fans, but I think the old fans love it, and we've gained a lot of new fans too that had never heard of Glacier, and now they have.
What can you tell me about the music progressing?
The what?
The music, how is it progressing since you came back as Glacier?
Well, the new album, it's sold out with no remorse, so I think it's doing pretty good.
Since it's sold out.
And we've had festivals have us play, and so it's still going.
Will there be any new music?
Yeah, actually, we've got 2 songs that we're going to release pretty soon. Our guitarist Vince, he had a fire in his studio, and so we're waiting for him to get his studio all back up and running again so we can finish him up, and we've got enough material to put it out to do another album also.
And how does that work? You being in Oregon, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And the rest of the band being in the Midwest, right?
So they have band practices every weekend, and then they send me files, and I learn the songs, and then when it's recording time, I'll come down and stay and do my songs.
What would you say is the most unexpected thing that happened since returning back into the fold of working band?
God, I don't know. I mean, it's just been incredible. I feel so blessed that I'm able to do this again, and this was going to be my life in the beginning, and things happen, and just never know.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.